Good evening. It is 7:07 p.m. and I hereby call to order the August 2022 meeting of the Village Tivoli Board of Trustees. Would you please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will begin with a village clerk's report. Clerk Bruno, please.
So in the last month, there were 426 trash tags that were sold. 2 payrolls were processed by Treasurer Day, and Laura Gale, our deputy clerk, continues to assist in the clerk's office. And coming up in September, on Monday, September 5th, the clerk's office will be closed in observance of Labor Day.
Thank you, Clerk Bruno. Trustees, we had 2 sets of minutes in our binders. We've got July 20 regular meeting minutes and August 10 workshop minutes. You've had a chance to review those. Is there a motion to approve both sets of minutes? Is there a second? Well, this is going to be fun tonight because we're going to. All in favor? Yes, we have, August is vacation month and we're down 2 trustees. So this is our quorum of 3. We can still do business. Treasurer's report. This month, out of the general fund, we spent $203,763.66. Out of the capital fund, $5,343.75, for a grand total of $209,107.41. And I imagine most of that 203 was paying back part of the bond we borrowed for the Bank of Greene County for the shoreline stabilization project. We borrowed another 165, and as soon as we get our next reimbursement from the Department of State for that grant, then we will pay that off. Is there a motion to accept the Treasurer's report?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pay the bills?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to a zoning report, Trustee Azrati, please.
Yes. Our code enforcement officer was relatively busy during the month of July into August. He reviewed and issued 9 building permits. He received and investigated 3 complaints. He identified 1 property maintenance violation, issued no appearance tickets, undertook 2 municipal searches. Those are the searches he does on titles when property transactions are taking place. He undertook 11 inspections, that's got to be close to a record, offered code enforcement training through his agency Z3, and undertook no fire inspections.
Thank you, Trustee Azrati. We are now at the point in our board meeting when we entertain public comment on agenda items only. Then there's a public comment period at the end again. So if there is any public comment on our accepting the 2022 AUD, which is our annual financial statement, which has to go to the state comptroller, or this resolution authorizing the sale of a surplus ambulance, we'd love to hear from you.
These are highly contentious items.
And there's plenty of time for public comment at the end if there's none right now, so we'll jump into these, the AUD, which is I want to thank Michelle Zagorski, Clerk Bruno, obviously, and Treasurer Bonnie Day for all their work in the financial department. And I'm pleased to say that at the end of the year, last fiscal year, we had $5,000 left over. So we came in just under budget, still haven't gone over. So that rolls over into our fund balance, and Tivoli's fund balance is $415,000. The big thing that will hit that soon will be our match on the shoreline stabilization, which is going to be about between $60,000 and $80,000. So that will still leave us with $320,000, $330,000. And given
And that's unconstrained.
Unconstrained, so that's what's considered a very healthy fund balance at 30% or so of your operating budget. So You never know when you're gonna need that rainy day fund, but we will have it. So is there a motion, this was filed with the comptroller by the deadline, May 31st. Is there a motion to accept the 2021-2022 AUD?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion?
Just that the layout of the report was, I mean, usually you get this tome that lists every line item of every budget, and this was a summary report that was very readable and useful.
That's good. I'll have to ask Michelle, I don't know if that's her formatting or if that's standard.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it came in an email and you could
Great.
look it over.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sorry, AUD. Resolution authorizing sale of surplus items, Village of Tivoli. So, after our terrible fire at the firehouse, July 5th, 2019, when we lost an ambulance and a fire truck, the village and the Tivoli Fire Department received tremendous support from a lot of our friends and neighbors in the area, including the donation of a very old but serviceable ambulance for free. I'm gonna get this wrong. Mobile One, Mobile Life. Mobile Life? Yeah. So Mobile Life gave us an ambulance, and we painted Village of Tivoli on the side, and it did its duty till we were able to get our new ambulance through the insurance recovery after the fire. The only thing that the donor said was, we don't want this thing back. It's a 2014 with 300,000 miles on it. So we are going to put this up to auction. We'll probably do a 2-week auction. The village, puts us through the county auction system, and anyone who's interested on buying this historic relic can bid on it. I think we're going to have a $2,000 minimum. And this resolution authorizes me to, take a commitment, not for me. If the auction house takes a commission, it cannot exceed 10%. So when we sold Jimmy's truck a few years ago, or Cody's truck, we did this, yeah.
So 2014, did you say?
Mhm.
So it's 8 years old.
Yeah.
I just sold a vehicle, and you may be surprised how much we get for it.
Well, let's hope so. All right, so this will authorize us to put the old donated ambulance on auction. And also, I'll just say, we made sure to ask around in case anyone else needed a very old ambulance, because obviously it was donated to us. We'd like to just pass it on. We didn't get any takers, so. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution for the sale of surplus items?
Me. Second.
Any further discussion?
No, it was very kind of them to give it to us.
Absolutely.
Certainly under those terms.
Yes.
Do we send it? Thank you.
I think so.
Yes, we did. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next board meeting will be held Wednesday, September 21st, here at 7 p.m. at the historic Watts de Peister Hall, preceded by a workshop at 6 p.m. And we will have a regular workshop on September 14th at 7 p.m. Moving on to committee reports. Trustee Israedi, please.
Well, I have served as the LoSAP coordinator since the LoSAP program was established in 2008. The LoSAP program is a length of service award program for our volunteer firefighters. Volunteers are not permitted to receive remuneration, or all kinds of chaos ensues. But we do award firefighters who have earned 200 points according to a point system that counts how many fires they go to, how many emergencies they serve, that kind of thing, including their attendance at meetings and serving as directors of the fire department. We have, I think, 26 qualified firefighters who received that this year, and that is up from 18 or 19 in prior years. And our total complement of firefighters is over 50, which makes our fire company the best manned of any of the units that we coordinate with between Columbia County and this part of Dutchess. It's pretty impressive. You may have heard we're building a firehouse to help to accommodate that group. And by the way, there is a fundraiser for that at the Hotel Tivoli on August 22nd. And I think if you're willing to come and give money, you're welcome to come to that. I've been working with a committee on solid waste. We are focusing right now on composting and how we can encourage that in the village. It's a little complicated because we have housing sites that have room enough to compost in the back. We have people who live in Tivoli Commons where they have absolutely no space to compost, and we have smaller lots. So finding a variety of solutions that serve everybody is harder than you think. But we're working on it. And just to complement the buildings and grounds, it looks pretty good. So thank you to our DPW.
Would you also like to take the court report since Trustee Baldino's
Yes,
here
I would. There were fines of $625 collected by the court with a surcharge of $25 for a total of $650. The violations appear to be largely parking violations. So if you are
including a parking against traffic, which I've been talking about for a number of months. It's particularly bizarre that it's really Montgomery Street. I know a lot of those plates are out of state. I don't know how it works over there, California, Virginia. These are some I've seen, but it's illegal to park against traffic in New York State, and we do ticket for that.
And there's a logic for that. You're pulling out against traffic, and so you're creating a...
At some point, you're head on in the wrong lane, even if it's a sleepy Montgomery Street. And, you know, it takes an extra 10 seconds to turn around and park the right way, so go for it. You're worth it. Tivoli's worth it. Don't get the ticket. Thank you, Trustee Zarate. Deputy Mayor Major.
Well, kind of a short report tonight. August tends to be a bit sleepy, but the library, as always, is doing fabulous things, so check them out. Claremont has two things going on. There's a band playing tomorrow night as part of their Harmonies on the Hudson series, 6 p.m. right behind the mansion. It's the Gold Hope Duo, and they're terrific. So you take a picnic. It's a really nice way to spend an evening if it's not raining. And then this weekend there's something that looks fascinating because they've been doing a ton of work in the past few months on the facade of the mansion and like stripped it down, and they're doing a talk on like the evolution of the structure. So if you're an old house nerd, 2 o'clock Saturday, it's free. Go for it. Historic Red Hook, just there's not any events this month, but in September the cemetery crawl starts, which they did it last year, where a couple of the board members have researched minutely people in cemeteries throughout the town. And so it's like a scavenger hunt, but you go and like traipse around. It's pretty neat. Olana, it's awesome. There's something going on up there that looks really, really interesting on Friday night, and it's like a German movie involving cutout silhouettes done outside by a female director with a live score. So I don't have the details. I read it briefly. It looks great. So Olana never disappoints.
They also have this fabulous exhibit about Niagara coming up, right?
Really? I didn't
At
read
Frederick Church. Oh,
He did some
you're
amazing
talking about
paintings.
Claremont. I'm talking about...
Oh, no, at Olana. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on Saturday night, if you've got nothing better to do, at 6 p.m., I'm going to be giving a little talk at the co-op as part of the Historic Tivoli show that they've got going on. And last week, Jim O'Grady did a talk that was about Dorothy Day and Eleanor Roosevelt and setting them up as sort of an insider, outsider, and how they both moved how they operated, how their political theories worked and operated. So I'm going to do a talk about James Starr Clark and John Watts de Peyster, and I'm not going to set them up like this. History sets them up as a near saint and as kind of a jerk. So, because both of them are sort of big figures in the community and sort of shaping the landscape that we see here architecturally. I don't know.
What's de Peyster Hall?
What's de Peyster Hall? Here we are. It's time to open the fire hose on that. And speaking of fires and Tivoli Bays, it's really dry out there, which means the ticks are really, nowhere to be found. But everything is super dry, so don't have any fires. And I saw a billboard sign, I think it was in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, that said, absolutely no fires, no burning. It's so dry out there, don't even fart. So that's the public service announcement.
That's how badly we need rain.
That's how badly we need rain.
And of course, our village historian, town of Red historian, and deputy mayor is very modest. I'll be at that talk on Saturday, and if anyone attended her talk during the sesquicentennial in this room, it was standing room only. It was fascinating. We learned a lot. So that's at the Tivoli Artists Gallery.
Oh, God, great.
I know, you dated yourself by
Dated.
what you get. You've been here a long time.
It's a great show.
What time is the talk?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
There's all sorts of old photographs, old maps and stuff that have been reproduced, as well as like current, right now, interpretations of the village. So.
Yeah, it's a very interesting show, and it's part of the sesquicentennial, and it's great that the Tivoli Artists Gallery sort of came up with some sesquicentennial content to help us push this party throughout the year.
And this is Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday the 20th.
Yeah, so Thursday Claremont, Friday Olana, Saturday.
Got it.
Tivoli Arts Gallery.
All right. I'm going to try and get through my list quickly because we have some actual people in this meeting tonight, which we don't always get to enjoy, so we want to give them a lot of time to talk. I want to thank the 54 Tivoli residents who participated in our stormwater infrastructure study last month. That's a really good participation rate. Ty and Bond is going over everyone who answered the survey, sent in photographs, videos, and we should have a lot more to tell you all in September, the results of that. The goal here is understanding the climate change that's happening and it's affecting all of us, and the kind of storms we've seen, I'm saying during a drought, but we've had storms that have even forced us to close Memorial Drive last year. There are a lot of parts in this village that's built on 80 feet of clay, which have serious drainage problems. And when our drainage infrastructure was put in previous decades, they didn't expect this sort of rain, these kinds of storms. So pipe diameters, frequency of catch basins, all that stuff. So the plan here is we're gonna find out what everyone has told us about what's going on where they live, and then we will look for some actual actionable projects to help some of these areas, hopefully. So that's the drainage thing, more next month. We had a great cleanup day on August 8th, and what was our total number of participants we got up to?
About 39.
39. And that includes the people who pulled out at the last minute, which was really not very pleasant. Please don't do that again. But that's great, and we don't have the numbers on that yet, right? We'll get that next month. The tonnage. Some people really like to know the tonnage of stuff that got taken away.
I did contact Keith about getting the information sooner.
Yeah.
But he said that he was really looking to,
Sure.
to give us everything on September 1.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yes.
Some of us didn't have as much to put out as others, but it's such a bargain, even at $45, because you can get rid of stuff. There's no other way to get rid of them.
You don't have a Ford
It's
250.
really helpful.
The Tivoli Rec Camp is underway. We are in our second week. There's a couple days left, only 2 days left. Our new director, Olivia Couture, is doing a magnificent job, as are our 3 counselors. We had 38 kids last week and 34 or so this week. I want to thank the Tivoli Fire Department for bringing the hose trucks over. One was not enough, and after we sprayed them all, they had to go back and bring the other one over and keep spraying. It's a very popular event. And also the members of the Harris Smith American Legion Post for supplying the pizza for the pizza party on Friday. And they'll be back this Friday for any kid who wasn't in the first week gets to still have pizza in the second week. You know, the Tivoli Rec program is my personal favorite thing that we do here in the village. Not just because I enjoyed it myself as a kid, but you know, all these things we do, whether it's paving streets, clearing snow, having a sewer plant, you know, rebuilding a firehouse, it's about letting this community stay and endure and go into the future. And so those are the future Tivolians, and we have to take good care of them. And they're having a great time meeting each other, building friendships, and so we'll do it again next August. All right, let's see. Tivoli Fire Department fundraiser, Monday night, August 22nd at the hotel. The next day, we have a special election for our congressional district, and there's early voting that's been going on. I think for Tivoli, it's Rhinebeck Town Hall is where the poll is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Been there.
And also the polls here at Tivoli, I think it's 6 to 9.
6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
6 to 9, and it'll be at the firehouse, so that's this Tuesday. And you can decide whether to do that before you go to the blood drive at the Masonic Hall, or maybe you want to give blood first and then go vote. I'm not sure. But the Masons are doing a blood drive also on Tuesday the 23rd, 9 to 2, 7 North Road. And if you're not aware, there is always a need for blood in our area. So please think about doing that.
At the elections, they always have chocolate. Just chocolate.
I don't know.
No?
I think it might just be.
She moved.
Yeah.
Oh, Judy moved?
Judy
Yeah.
moved.
Oh,
Judy would
dear.
bring chocolate, so. But you can get a cookie at the blood drive.
Budget accordingly.
Plan accordingly. A lot of good things coming up in September. Also as part of our sesquicentennial, we're going to have the 5K I Love It Run Walk. This happened last year. I want to thank Mary Shaw who's put this together. It's going to be, it's 3 miles. You line up in front of the firehouse, September 10th, 9 a.m. The registration is open. Just Google I Love It 5K. I sent out a village email last week with all the information. There are posters around. We're trying to push the sign-ups. I reached out to Bard and to Red Hook to push the event. And all the money that gets raised goes to Sloan Kettering Memorial for children's cancer research. And I think last year they raised a couple $1,000. So hopefully we can do that again. So that's the 10th. You will have recovered from your blood donation by then. On the 17th, the next Saturday, our friends over in Red Hook Village are having Hardscrabble Day. It's their annual thing. That's going from 10 to 10, 12 hours. And they are kind of changing the concept a little bit. They're going to not have the parade, and they're going to focus on music, local farms, and there's going to be food vendors and a cider tent, I believe. See if they can go up against our beer tent from Sesquicentennial. The Hardscrabble Day on September 17th. And then you can recover, and on September 24th, that will be Tivoli Street Painting Day, with the rain date of October 1st. So I can't believe I just said October, but there's a lot coming up in the next few weeks. I also want to say, we won't get our hopes up, but a very significant law was passed in New York State today that I know Tivoli has been following carefully. The New York Conference of Mayors, which is all the villages and all the cities, have an organization, and we've been petitioning the state legislature to allow villages and cities to reduce the speed limit from 30 to 25. We have looked over the years, because of all the speeding in the village, at lowering speed limits, and we're not allowed to go below 25 on a village road until today, because this law just got passed. So
Below 30, right?
right,
Yeah.
you can't go below 30.
Yeah,
I couldn't before.
yeah.
So I'm thrilled, and our reps at NICOM did a really good job lobbying for this. So we'll be looking at this in the coming weeks. That we do have to do a traffic study to make sure slower speeds make sense and everything, but I think we know what the answer to that's going to be. So hopefully we can finally do this, and I know there's a lot of residents who will be thrilled about that. So, okay, that's what I have, and now we are at open public comment.
Hello, public.
Hey, public.
That's great. Emily, will your talk be recorded on Saturday? Will it be recorded?
I don't know. Was Jim recorded?
No, but maybe we can get one of our Panda credits. We get 3 events a year, I think, so maybe we'll request that. Yeah.
If not, you can always stop me on the street and
No, I do think you
No,
already
no.
gave me that talk at the beginning of
I think I
COVID
did.
when we were taking our long walks.
Exactly.
But I still.
I'd like to have it on record somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's also an event this Sunday that's happening at the pavilion in the park, a kids clothing swap. So if you know any kids, everybody, any parents with kids, it's free, and everybody can exchange clothes and hopefully not go and buy a bunch of school clothing.
Yeah, could you expand on that event a little more? Just so
Absolutely.
that everyone knows what it is, where it is, and when it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting at 10 a.m. in the pavilion in the Tivoli Park, it's called the Tivoli Memorial Park, right? Yeah. Tivoli Memorial Park, Fructified is partnering with the Tivoli Library to throw a big kids clothing swap, any ages from newborn to late teens, so pretty much any sizes of clothing. And 10 to 12, we're going to be accepting donations, sorting everything, putting everything in recognizable piles / tables / however we're going to organize this. And then 12 to 4, it's open for exchanging and grabbing things, and hopefully people won't be bringing things in the last minute, because then we have to figure out what to do with it.
Mhm.
And we're still sort of figuring it out. There's a couple of interesting organizations and shops and volunteering groups that want to take that clothing. So
Great.
that's also another thing. If somebody wants to show up at the end and say, like, listen, I have this Lake Kids Hospital, or maybe these late immigrant families that have just moved in from some sort of facility and need kids clothing, that's going to be available at the end. We don't sell kids clothing at Thriftified, unfortunately, due to lack of space. So we really wanted to throw this event just to give people an opportunity to actually get kids clothing without having to pay for it and having to contribute to mass production of all that stuff. So
That's great.
yeah,
super cool.
yeah.
If you have an advertisement for that, you want to email to me, I'll send it out on the village email list as well.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Thank you. I posted on Tivoli Neighbors 12583 on Facebook. That was as far as I'd gone.
Sure.
Can civilians buy ambulances?
That's a
I'm
good
trying to think, was the Ghostbusters thing a hearse?
I think
Yeah,
It's a hearse, right?
That'd be a great way
Um,
to just roll up around.
It's a good question.
Yeah, no,
I think so. I mean, you could buy school buses and everything else. You'd probably have to do some version of decommissioning it, or
I mean, they don't
not
have
using
cars.
lights and stuff. But
ambulance conversions are a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's good headroom in there. Stand up and stuff. So.
I'm really curious about the compost stuff, and if you could talk a little bit more about what sort of things you're maybe considering, slash what there is right now.
The challenge of composting is collection. So there's a lot of, we've collected a lot of literature about how to do it properly, how to build a compost bin, those kinds of things. And historically, we've actually given out compost bins or gotten them at a discount. Right now, they're examining, the committee is just looking at, is there a way to collect compost that could perhaps be taken to Ozone, and they then take it to Kingston, where there is a composting facility that takes it to high heat, so you can put meat and bones and cheeses and things like that in it without risking untoward bacteria, and then deliver it back to Tivoli. Right now, the pricing of that is not sensible. We have the Tivoli system where you get a tag for $4 and you can have your trash picked up at the street. That is a system which costs us about $34,000 a year for the village, and we get about $24,000 worth of tags sold. So that's at risk because people who don't use it are subsidizing the people that are using it. And the other thing is that we have many people that use the recycling component of that, for which we charge nothing, but don't participate in the tags. So that's a challenge that we're looking at.
There is the pilot program, if I can interrupt, over in Red Hook at the Town Collection Center. I think they're doing that through October, where any Tivoli residents, Red Hook Village, Red Hook Town can drive your stuff over and take it there to the free store, where they do everything else. So hopefully that's going to well become a permanent feature of town, town amenities. But then we also we got a small grant 3 years ago to get a composting tumbler, which is behind the community garden, and it's sort of like a little composting area where people, residents can bring their kitchen scraps over there. Again, you got to walk it over, bike it over, drive it over, and put it in there. It's pretty small scale, obviously.
But that's allowed. You're allowed to bring.
Yeah, community garden people don't like it if you're not part of the garden and you bring your stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
you just
I feel
tell
like
them
I've
it's
been
not
just-
just for that.
Joel said I can put this.
That's right. I applied for that grant, and it's for the village. So,
So anybody who's interested in that, please email me at sgezrati, and I'll get you to participate with the committee.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really interesting.
that one, of course, over at the garden, you can't put the bones and the cheese and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Yes?
Well, I was wondering, there's so much space in the park now where the fire tower used to be. I'm wondering, is there a plan or are there ideas about what's going to happen with all that beautiful empty flat space?
Right. There's no decision made about what's going to go there. I think half the villagers have an idea, and I've heard a lot of different ones. Do you have one?
Not
You're
necessarily,
just asking.
I'm just interested to know what the current state of that is.
Yeah, so my feeling has been we should sit with it for a year or two.
Not have a rebrand project.
Not have a rebound project?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah. One of the things is that it's actually the highest part of the park, which is often very soggy in many areas. So like one idea might be to move some of the playground equipment up there. But I've heard all sorts of things that are maybe less practical, like tennis court. Less practical, unaffordable. There's still a water line that runs right through there, so that if that ever broke, you'd have to dig through whatever you put there. But I think that in the coming time, we all need to think about, do we want to do something with that? It's kind of asking for something.
Yeah, I mean, my idea was an expanded garden, like either expanded Tivoli garden, community garden, or flower garden. I don't know if that's sort of a low impact on that.
Wildflowers.
Just
That would be
wildflowers,
so
yeah,
nice.
something like that.
Yeah,
But-
we didn't talk to the Water Authority about the McKnight site where the new tower is, which has been mowed. It's just mowed, and letting the front half of that become like a pollinator garden.
We were
we
just there
don't
at
have
6
to-
a.m. this morning, and we were talking about that exact thing.
Yeah.
Today.
So that one would be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Having checked in with my rec counselors this week, the bees have been a real problem
Yeah.
for the kids and the campers and stuff. So maybe the pollinator garden somewhere else. But we should have one. I don't know if you've been down Washburn Avenue and seen that little pollinator garden somebody put in.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I was seeing
I don't think we're gonna have a tennis court or a swimming pool or any of these other things, which I've heard.
Lawn darts.
You've got one?
Oh, what about the fine dining eatery that would rotate?
Oh, the
Oh,
rotating.
yes, yes.
The rotating
Like a
eatery.
little train with sushi.
Yeah.
That
Bandstand is another one that's come up.
Oh, well,
That would be sort of attractive, but also it's like we have this pavilion that isn't used to its fullest potential. So it's like, why would you make another sheltered thing?
Can
But,
we
If the garden was expanded, I have to say, I would definitely sign up for a plot. And I know a couple of people that have missed the deadline and then really wanted to I understand that that's all, planning and money and decisions
Oh, yeah,
and
I mean,
stuff, but
we,
that's definitely a popular.
the community garden is 10 years old this year, and it was the first thing I did when I was a trustee, and I'm very thrilled about it. If you want to get together and talk about like more garden space, that particular space sort of can't be expanded because the road, the tree, the neighbor, and in the back it's really wet.
Yeah.
But, you
A
might be
second
able to,
one.
sorry?
Just a second one.
Right, exactly. So that would be the thing to do is find another place. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that because that's just been a success all the way, except when they don't let you put your compost back there.
I haven't had any unpleasant run-ins with anybody, but I have heard. So it's fine.
Well, you
I
put
just
it-
got the sense I wasn't supposed to. Very basic question. What are the workshops that you mentioned that are happening?
Like a board workshop?
Yeah.
So the board works second Wednesdays and third Wednesdays, and we call the second Wednesday a workshop. And on third Wednesdays, like today, we usually have a workshop for the first hour, and then this is our more formal meeting for the second hour. And in a workshop, that's when the board, and all these meetings are open to the public, they're always the same night, and everyone's welcome. And that's when we really go deep into doing like when I told everyone about the ambulance before the meeting. Hey, board members, we went over the AUD in great detail. So in the beginning of this meeting, when you hear us say, first, second, vote, boom, first, second, vote, boom, and it sounds like we're like shoving stuff through, that's because we've already gone over everything.
Right.
And there are other municipalities where they don't workshop, and these meetings are very long because they do all that deliberation at the same time they're doing formal voting. So in Tivoli, we've always separated those things. So that's what the workshops are, and they're quite interesting. And at the workshop, public is welcome. We do all of our chitting and chatting and stuff, and then any public comment is at the end. So some of our workshops have gone on almost 3 hours sometimes, so it can be a long time to wait. But that's the real like nuts and bolts of the board's decision making generally. Yeah.
You were talking about the AAUD thing being really nicely written up in a readable way. Is that somewhere, and can we access it?
Yeah,
I
so
love
this
a
gets
readable
posted on the village website, and actually it's on the state comptroller's website. So
Oh.
every municipality, ours just got submitted in May. I'm not sure if it's on the state comptroller's yet. So we just approved it tonight, for example, so it might be a little while. But you can go up to the state comptroller's website and pick any municipality in New York State and basically look at their finances and say, oh, this is what they spent on paint, composter.
AUD stands for Assets Under Development.
Thank you.
So it's a working document.
But yeah, they all end up posted for public view. But if you want to see one, just the nice formatting she was talking about, I can show you after the
Yeah,
meeting.
that's intriguing.
There was a legal notice that was put in the Freeman that
Mhm.
indicated it had been filed and that a copy is available for review in the clerk's office.
Right, so you can also go to the clerk's office anytime and see it. Thanks, Robin. Yeah.
Is there an official burn ban in place along with the please don't burn anything?
I don't believe so. I mean, that's the normal burn ban is in the spring and it goes till May 15th, so.
I think you're never supposed to burn in Tivoli Bays. Like, I don't think
Right.
campfires are allowed.
Mhm.
And open burning in general is not permitted.
Rather burning garbage.
Yeah.
Right. In New York State through the DEC, unless otherwise prohibited, anywhere in the state you can have a campfire, which is defined as 4 feet in diameter and 3 feet high.
It's like a fire.
And like wood, not
Not brush.
electronics. Yeah.
Household waste.
Yeah.
Those
And we have a
bones.
date, for Shred Day, I think?
I think it's in October.
Okay, yeah, so the very popular Shred Day
I'm
is
ready.
coming up.
I'm ready.
also.
I've got my boxes
Another-
ready.
E-waste too? E-waste and shred?
Well, e-waste we did on the 8th.
All right.
We got quite a bit.
Just a shredding truck and then we'll collaborate with the library.
Mhm.
I think it's
I
October
think it's
1st.
October 1st.
That's what.
That sounds right, yeah. Any other public comment on anything?
How's the trail going?
Funny you should ask.
Funny you should ask. The deputy mayor and I just sat with Kotzbahn Monday,
Yeah.
and how's it going? So every 3 to 4 years, the village and Kotzbahn try to get the trail officially open, maintained, and most importantly, approved by the attorneys on both sides. And then that gets stuck on something, usually having to do with liability. But we are all back at the table. Mayors change, attorneys change, Kotzbahn personnel changes, so, you know, I'm feeling quite hopeful about this time. And there is something in New York State called the General Use Law, which was designed to encourage private property owners to open their land for public trails throughout the state. And it essentially says the private property owner has no duty to ensure safety. So if a farmer says, okay, this can be a trail, and people are walking and someone falls down, that's the thing that protects the farmer from some horrendous lawsuit. So we're hoping to use that and look at that and make sure that can work. What else? We've talked to DEC over the years about putting, like, that they would pay for some sort of bridges over some of the ravines further down. We're gonna be working on the trail throughout the fall, and hopefully we can have it open and have a ribbon cutting. But we have to work with our friends over at Kotzbahn and make sure they're comfortable with everything as
But
well.
you can get to the same location off of Kid Lane that goes directly into the bays.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And when we get it open, we're gonna need a community volunteer corps who's gonna go help us clear it every 2 months during the summer. Pick up trash and whatnot, so.
But we've got material sitting back there to get us across the boggy sections and whatnot, you know, right
Yeah.
behind Village Hall, so.
Yeah.
um,
But I'm glad you asked because it's, we just had another meeting about it. And I went back and pulled out all the notes, and the last time we were talking with some folks over there was 2017. So.
It feels closer now than it's felt in a long time, so.
That's
it was discussed when I started on the board in 2007.
Yeah.
And,
Well, but what, it was officially opened in like 2001, right? And stayed open and maintained for a couple of years?
But not all parties have signed an agreement.
yeah.
Ah.
It was still passable last year.
Yeah.
It's definitely not at the moment.
Yeah, we tried a couple weeks ago.
Actually, can I also ask?
Sure.
The Phragmites thing, why?
This is the, what do we call them?
The reed bed?
The reed beds at
Yeah.
the sewer plant. Why you're talking about the plaque on the kiosk?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Tivoli sewer plant, which is gonna get replaced in the next probably 2 years, you know, the material comes in, it goes through these headworks, goes through some different mechanical separation, aeration, bacteria, and at one point, all of that material, the sewage, gets pushed out into these 2 ponds that are full of Phragmites. And the
Because they
Phragmites,
eat bacteria.
you know more about this, you were there when this was going on.
Yeah.
They eat the bacteria.
And the mayor and Harry Cogan and the deputy, the
Mayor Cordier.
DPW, went out to fields and dug up Phragmites and brought them back and put them in the reed bed. And it won awards as a ecologically appropriate way to do the bacteria remediation from the sludge. The problem was that it needed to be renewed every 5 years, and the follow-up wasn't good.
And after the Phragmites work on the material, then it goes back into the sewer plant and goes through either a chlorination or an ultraviolet blast, and then eventually gets released into the Stony Creek there and goes out to the North Bay.
But how come we have them behind Village Hall here?
Because they're viciously invasive.
So
I don't
maybe there
think
was
that was
just-
deliberate, no.
Oh, okay.
That was birds.
Okay.
That's why I was wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
No, they cleared other fields because of that characteristic of the Phragmites, which is that they eat bacteria.
Cool. Okay.
So it was a relocation, not a planting.
Yeah.
And then the birds relocate. Any further public comment? Thank you all for coming tonight. Anything from the board?
I want to take names for the purposes of the minutes.
Yeah, did everyone sign the
Oh,
sign-in
yeah,
sheet?
we're on the sign-ins, but,
Well, just so I can put who.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I'm Anna Siftar, that's Anna with 2 N's.
What's the last name?
Siftar.
T-A-R?
Mm-hmm.
And
Masha's the
I
better.
don't get it. Yeah.
Tyler. Emerson.
Yeah, it must be nice having you.
And
Cadence or chorus?
okay, thank you.
You are very welcome. Anything else from the board? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. 7:52, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.